Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my Pixel Quest. Thank you so much for coming to visit me today. It just so happens that we're about to start a new episode in our blind playthrough of Return of the Obra Dinn. Really great timing on your part. Well done, well done. It's a good time to come visit. So, as always, I must pay homage to this just on time. Beautiful piece of music that I love so much. I have to say it every single episode. So excellent. In addition to that, I actually think I have mentioned in the comments to these videos, and by the way, this is a good opportunity to just say again, thank you so much guys for being such an amazing Return of the Obra Dinn community. It's been really, honestly, like just so heartening to see the positive reception that this series is getting, and it just makes me so happy and gives me so much motivation, you know, to keep putting these videos out. You guys have been so wonderful, and I really love reading your comments, and I'm so glad that you're here with me on this journey. So just a big thank you from me. I explained, in multiple videos why it is that I have gone with the black and the white, because it is, visually it's a technically challenging game to try and avoid the kind of compression that you get when you upload to YouTube. And so, you know, I've changed the settings in the way I record, so it's much higher quality recordings now, which helps substantially. But the other thing that helps a lot is actually going with the high contrast visual, the black and the white. However, there was so much interest from you guys in experimenting with different colors. So I did think maybe today let's do it. So we've done Macintosh. There was some specific interest in the green. Now this could be this might be a little bit less clear to see, but I think let's do the experiment. As I said, it's not just the color change that we're working with. I've already at this stage greatly increased the quality of the recordings that should be doing most of the work here. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this should be fine. I reckon let's go with the IBM. There's also Zenith we haven't tried. We have tried the Commodore 64. It's not the Commodore 64. I keep calling it the Commodore 64, but it's the same. It's the same as the Commodore 64. IBM is also very nice. Yeah, like you can see the difference, right? You can see how much more striking the black and the white is compared to the slightly muted colors of all of the other options. So that high contrast between the black and the white just makes a big difference. Anyway, but let's go with the IBM 5151. Gosh, I don't even know. Is it 5151? 5151? Let's give it a go. For one episode, let's go green. Let's go green, everyone. Interesting. Let's begin. Ding, ding. I love the sounds. I love the sound. Oh, that's right. We're starting at one of the most incredible action scenes, you know, possibly in the entire game so far. Crazy. This is something. Okay, now, there's a lot we can go on with. There's a ton we can go on with at this stage. However, after having seen so much of the scenes in this chapter, I'm actually really, really keen at this stage to do a little revision and to see if I am in a position to work out some more fates and some names and all of that. I wondered how far that would let me go. But while I'm here, let me just revise for myself. Yep, our Frenchman, the bosun's mate, right? The guy. Yeah, that's right. The guy who's next to the bald guy, behind the Foremost in Royalty picture. Got it. This brave, crazy brave soul here is, yes, the mysterious guy next to Lars. Okay. Alright, now here's a question for me. How do I... There's my door. It was like... someone is blocking the stairs. Alright. Got it. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible, these chapters. It's an interesting bubbling sound there that suddenly became very clear. I guess just because it was quiet. Interesting. What a big chapter too. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8. Have we got a Part 8, everybody? But there's no conclusion here. Yeah, there's no conclusion. Okay, because that's what the... it's slowly crystallized over time. Like the X's are the sort of, these parts, like where there's a death that we're present for, and the slashes are the number of disappearances at the end. So this one has no disappearances. All of the horror is accounted for, present and accounted for. Cool. So there's a lot to go over. All right. There's a lot to go over in, oh my God, this one. Oh, a couple of things crystallized for me, by the way, in between episodes. Again, this was not through like actively going through everything. It's just the way that I want to do this particular game. In other playthroughs, I do hard labor, for example, in, no spoilers whatsoever. But I do hard labor in between a lot of episodes of my Blueprints playthrough, by the way. I have 2 notebooks and I do a ton of puzzling, because there's just no way, even with, there's just no way I can do it like all on screen in that particular game. It's the nature of that game. I have to do some things off screen. But in this game, I've explained at the beginning, I don't really feel like that's the case. I feel like I can do all of my puzzling on screen here. You guys, you guys can be party to the whole lot of it. And I like that for this one. So I don't actively do anything like that in between episodes. But, of course, I can't stop my brain suddenly clicking with things. And so I have clicked a couple of things, small things, I think. Well, maybe not. No, it's all important, right? One of them is that I realize, oh, hang on. Probably in this scene, all of the people who are up here, or maybe at least most of them, are probably top men. Because I remembered that top men are... Let's take a look. Top men. Higher rated seamen specializing in work above the deck in the sails and rigging. Alright, look, I don't know if what they mean is up in the sails, because, rigging, I suppose, it has a very broad definition, right? Like all kinds of things that are on the deck are also rigging. But I feel, and because also it's called topmen, so topmen above the deck makes sense, but topmen also above the deck, as in the people who are kind of climbing up into the rigging and sails and doing the stuff there. I would say there's a very, very good chance that they are topmen, right? So I thought, yeah, that actually, God, this is so crazy. I can't get over it. They kept one. There's its spear. Yeah, so topmen, I think, there's a good chance that maybe all or at least most of the characters in that scene are topmen. That's one thing I thought. Okay, I'm just kind of like, because I'm in the mood for a little bit of revision, I'm kind of just reminding myself of a few things while I'm here, while I'm in the area. Yep, that's right. Yeah, so we could just see the little flies through the wall there, because there's a giant spider. Captain keeps a lot of bottles. Maybe some other things. Okay. Now I know we can probably... So first off, there's a whole nother chapter 2, that we can also dig into, and I can also maybe kind of move forward on the ship. But I actually want to go. This is going to be a useful room for learning who the gunmen are as well. When I go back through the memories in this chapter, in the Soldiers of the Sea chapter. Hang on. I was just taking a look. Help! Let me out! Whew. So, but I actually, I want to do a little bit more revision of some earlier things. In particular, okay, so that one's not open yet. In particular, so there's so much stuff I want to jump into. I want to go and see everything. In particular, I am actually, because it's been a long time and I've come a long way. Here's another thing. Oh my god, here's another thing I figured out. Right. So I realized for this series of events here in the escape, in the escape, let's go there. I realized after I was doing my big revision here, like where I was kind of making a critical mistake. It just kind of crystallized for me a little bit after when I was thinking about it, when I was thinking, that's so weird, that doesn't make sense. Like, so I think I put most of the stuff that's going on here together. I'm happy about it. But the thing that I now realize I was making a mistake on is here. Is about who is saying mutiny, mutiny. The conclusion I came to in the episode when I was doing this revision was very strange to me, and I was like, why would fourth mate, who I think is the one sitting here with, this kind of the pot hat guy, why would he ask if he has a plan and then say mutiny, mutiny? But the reason I was coming to that really awkward conclusion is because I thought by the time this conversation is had in part 4, we can already see, not to this guy, in fact, we can already see in part 3 that this guy gets stabbed, like is in the process of getting stabbed. So I was just like it was not making sense to me. The critical error that I was making was forgetting that events can be super close together. So part 3 is focused on the moment of death of this guy up on deck. But what I hadn't clicked with at that time is that is basically that what we see below deck, the events we see below deck, where pot hat guy, that's what I'm going to call him for the time being, pot hat guy with a beard, here, he is down below deck, he is just about to stab our knifed guy who crawls around on the floor. By the time we get to part 4, that guy's already been stabbed. However, the conversation that plays out is they're back in they're in the room at the back. They're talking about the mutiny, and then, who's there? Like, who's there doesn't make any sense unless it's the guy who's listening, unless they're referring to the guy who's listening in. So it's just that stepping away from this outside of the episode, which is sometimes how things crystallize, and is also how, mistakes can be made sometimes when I'm sort of like, I don't know, like focusing with a certain part of my brain on certain things. Anyway, taking a step back, taking a breath allowed me to go, oh, hang on, part 3 and part 4 in this scene are overlapping. So yeah, obviously, so when we see in part 3, this guy chase the guy and be about to knife him, that is occurring at this moment. Whereas this, so basically where and the gun firing here occur is moments away, after, only mere moments after this moment up here. So that's why the actions, the events unfolding down here in this room overlap together. So I get it now. I get it. So actually, yeah, it makes so much more sense now that they're still quietly having a conversation, conspiring together. So pot hat guy and I think fourth mate are actually conspiring together here. Well, all right, I suppose there's still a question about that. I think it's likely they're conspiring together. Certainly this guy is conspiring. The guy listening in, who's been there probably for the last couple of parts, makes some sort of noise. Huh? Who's there? Says pot hat guy. The guy who's been listening in, who eventually gets stabbed, says, mutiny, mutiny, as he runs away. This guy gets up, somehow catches him, stabs him, but then meets his own demise. Now, I haven't really quite... So I think that makes sense. I think that's right. However, I'm still not quite sure really about what's going on with fourth mate. Fourth mate is a real figure of interest and mystery to me, if indeed he is fourth mate. That's what I'm assuming. I think it's John Davies. I'm not sure here if he's like, look, I was all well and good with the plan you were telling me about, stealing the shells and selling them and everything like that, but I'm absolutely not okay with you stabbing that guy. You've gone too far, So maybe that's why he comes in and struggles with the guy that he was just sitting with. So he, the gun probably goes off accidentally just in the struggle. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it goes off accidentally. Maybe it's simply that he realizes it's a me or you kind of situation. Has to, it's, I don't know. Or maybe he did fundamentally also disagree with the plan. All he says is you have a plan. We don't hear really whether he agrees or doesn't agree. But you can see him in this scene, fourth mate, John Davies, I think. You can see him in, I think it's part 2, but it might be a couple of them. He's got real head in hands energy. He's doing it tough by this stage. So anyway, that's something I figured out. That's something that finally clicked for me. I just wanted to let you know. But what I think I'm interested in revising, because I haven't been back to them for a really long time, are these. Not this one. I actually have to go in the other way. It's the original kind of gun deck events. I would like to see them and listen to them again, because I think I've got a lot more context for things at this stage. So now I actually remember the order that I... Oh, hello. What this? It's someone up above, but I'm not sure who. Exploded guy? Maybe that's Exploded guy. Look at our almost certainly, definitely shell sitting out there, I reckon. I'm not sure. But that's my strong theory. Don't let me know if I'm right or not. I can remember the order that I looked at these in. I looked at this guy first, etc. However, what is the actual... Let us look at the way this actually unfolds. So... Yep, that's right. It begins... these parts at least begin with the fight here about getting into the boat or not. Oops, sorry, just gotta have a look at something on my phone. Just getting a text. All good. Okay. Yeah, so some of them were looking to get on a boat to escape. I guess I've got to come back to this to sort of see, like, is the thing I remember the event here, but the thing I can't remember about this is, has the octopus already started attacking by this stage? Like, are they running away because of that? Then, right, the artist is crushed at the back of the ship. God, so that's interesting, because if we can't already start to see the octopus here, if they're running away for some other reason, and it's not because a squid is about to attack, then that makes this the first sign of the squid, and it's a sneaky, quiet death on the bow. That's really creepy and cool. That's really creepy and cool. I'm sad about Edward. Then we start to get the events that are on the gun deck. Yeah. So on the gun deck, we've got the guy who gets crushed while the fuse is lit. Load. Move by hands. Aim level ready. No. Belay spark. Cool. Then, obviously, immediately after that, we get the two who are... I haven't filled this one in yet because, I was kind of putting them together anyway, and I wasn't so sure about how to phrase this one, and yeah, anyway, I didn't really move forward with that. But we've got these two guys who seem to die under the same circumstance, but I'll double check into that. And then this is the first guy that I looked at down here, but he is in part 5 getting crushed after this, which is a pretty crazy incident with the tentacles coming in. And then the action is on the main deck, as it says, with exploded guy, with guy getting, I think, torn apart. However, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit wrong about this. It could still be like crushed, right? I don't know. I thought torn apart. So here's another thing. Actually, here's another thing to do before I start doing this revision. Let's go to back cover. We currently have 2 sets of confirmations. We have, the first 3 that happened really quickly, and because I wasn't, I'm not hugely in a rush to be doing these confirmations, as I'm sure you're well aware at this stage. And the reason is just, we get to it when we get to it, right? Like, that's kind of my feeling. I'm happy to have been following my nose as I go, and that's the way that I like to do it. I like to just go, what am I feeling right now? Like, do I want to get into a new chapter? Do I want to see some more events? Do I want to like look around a bit more in the present time? Do I want to look around a little bit more in some of the memories? And just kind of bit by bit put things together. That's definitely the most fun for me, and I think, if I'm having fun, it's more fun for you guys. So I'm in no rush to do things systematically or anything like that. So I just feel now is a nice time to be thinking about seeing if we can do some more confirmations. But what I was going to say is, how many, I think it's a good chance to look at how many, so let's go to escape to first check this. How many fully filled in profiles do I have? Because if I, like this one, for example, it's partially filled in, but I haven't filled in the fate yet. I'll check into that, but I don't know if I know yet what happened to Alfred. The last I've seen of him, before he actually, we've seen his moment of death, but I don't actually know what caused his death. Certainly it's probably crushed by a squid, but it's not really the way that I've seen that isn't really, I don't know. I'm not fully convinced of it, I suppose. So I want to take a bit more of a look at that. But anyway, this one is only partially filled in, is the point. This one, it's not yet confirmed. However, no, it's also not partially filled in because I haven't put in the attacker. This is the attacker, and they are definitely not filled in. This one is still partial. So yeah, what I'm getting at, I'm taking a long time to say this, is how many fully filled in yet unconfirmed profiles do I have, or fates do I have? Then I know if something in, like, let's say I have 3 that are fully filled in but they're not confirmed, then I know that something about them is wrong. So far these are all partial. These are all partial. These are all partial, yeah. I think we need to find out where they've gone. And then, so that's the escape. Nothing fully filled in the escape. Let's go and check out the doom then. So that's partially, this one is fully filled in, but it's not confirmed. No, it is confirmed. It's one of the confirmed ones. Never mind. Okay. Not fully filled in. Not fully filled in. Nope. Nope. Yes, fully filled in and yet not confirmed. So here's one. It's the first one. I feel pretty good about that one. And then, yeah, I don't have any of these fully filled in. Okay, so far only one. Only one. I don't think any of these will be done, right? No, 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 that's it. And I very much doubt. So some of these are already confirmed in this chapter. Nunzio is confirmed. Oh, because this is wrong. Yep, I was originally quite sure of this, but now I know it is incorrect. And I know who it is, so I can fix this one straight away. Nevertheless, let's say this is 2, and I've already found the mistake, but this is 2. No. So I might not even have 3, and then the last one that we've only just dipped our toe into is here, and there's no way any of these. I know cow. I've got cow. That's it. That's it. Okay. Interesting. So I can at the very least fix this one in the murder now. Because you were not shot by Christian Wolf, it turns out. You were shot by... You were shot by, where is he? It's all the way down the bottom, isn't it? Brennan. Henry Brennan. There we go. All right, I'm happy with that. I think Hock Seng Lao was shot with a gun by Henry Brennan. I'm cool with that. Got it. But but I don't have enough to potentially have a confirmation from this. Let's see if we can get there. Okay, so I want to go back to the doom, and I want to try to understand this a bit better. I actually think let's go back up to part 1 actually. Let's really investigate this in order. So Lars. Bubba.
Let me on. Over my dead body, you bloody Dane. Huh? How's that?
There's no cause for trouble, boys. Get in the boat.
Huh? Thought I'd forget. You killed my brother. What? That was an accident. The ropes.
It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing.
Lies. I shouldn't have waited so long.
No, don't.
So we know Lars is quite, I feel very happy with that. He's the Danish guy. We will eventually, I already know what the hook to finding out this guy is going to be. It is that he is, I'm pretty sure he's one of the 2 Peters, right? We just don't know which of the 2 Peters he is. Is that right? Peters? Yeah, there's a Nathan Peters who is a seaman and a Samuel Peters who is also a seaman. It's probably the Peters brothers and it's either Nathan or Samuel here, but we don't know which. So we're quite close to knowing who this guy is anyway. And also we know that this guy, at whatever moment this is, where somebody dies from some sort of rope-related incident, we know that Lars will be there. Lars will be there, who is also, I was just seeing what he was called a seaman as well. And also, I think, I could be wrong, because there's two guys here, we don't really know exactly who's speaking, but I think this guy is speaking. I think this guy is speaking. I actually want to listen to this again because I feel there was a slight accent there. So this is actually, I'm going to go straight back in. I want to hear this again.
Let me on. Over my dead body, you bloody day.
English.
How's that?
There's no cause
Danish.
for trouble, boys. Get in the boat.
Thought I'd forget. You killed my brother. What? That was an accident. The robes.
It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing.
Lies. I shouldn't have waited so long.
No, don't.
I don't know. No, maybe not much of an accent actually then. However, could this be one of our Sierra Leone crew members? Crew. What have we got? Oh, there's actually only one. Okay, I remember there was Sierra Leone. Okay. So it could be Hamadou Diom. However, it could also not be. This is just one of those things. Just because he's black doesn't mean, like, there seems to be several black people on the ship. So there's only, that's why I was like, if there's an accent there, it would be easier to believe that he was, had a different origin. But, not sure. But I mean, they do all seem to be, at least I would say these three guys all seem to be seamen, like working together in scenes, you know what I mean, in scenes together, in doing jobs together, etc. Whereas I'm still suspicious the guy at the back is the purser. The purser is... Purser, where are you? The purser. The purser doesn't even have a mate or a steward. It's just the purser. Duncan McKay, Scotland. Now, nobody here has a Scottish accent, so I don't think this guy is saying anything. He's just letting events play out. It's really just that he's carrying ledgers. That just seems to me to say, I'm the purser. I'm carrying ledgers from, like he's standing here around the mates, around all of the people with hats. Doesn't mean that everyone here is an officer, though. But he certainly looks like an officer. He looks like an officer. Look at his neat hair. Neat hair, cravat. I think this is a purser. I don't know if that's enough to guess, though. In fact, let's see what the game thinks. It does think I have enough to guess who this is, so that's interesting. I mean, I would guess purser. I've said this many times. I would guess purser. But I'm curious about, am I actually missing a bit of information about this guy that gives me more concrete evidence about that? One thing I'm actually, like, I could just input this and guess. And I also suspect, he disappeared in the Doom. We know this. I suspect that he You know, these are the people who fell into the ocean, and I now know that I can choose this as an option, so let's do it. Fell overboard. Like he kind of fell overboard from a small boat at this stage. And so that's probably it. We're doing a good old guess. Probably, it should say probably fell overboard to his death, but we don't know, do we? Again, he could be on the squid's magical island with all of the squid's, you know, human concubines that are treasured forever and, you know, showered with gifts and sweet fruits and all kinds of things that the squid knows humans love and has a great time. We don't know that that's not true. We don't know. Maybe, can I just say, oh, it's not here. Maybe that's what the sparkle is. It's not the magical cursed shell at all. It's not wretched fish. It's the island. It's the island where several of these people who disappeared are having a marvelous time together. A marvelous time. Good on them. Well done, everybody. Either way, I think this is the person. But what I'm curious to do before I actually input that, because I'm curious if there is more information that I can learn about this guy, and I reckon there probably is. I want to go and see if we can see him in the purser's office, right? We have access now to the purser's office. So I like that. I like that. Hang on. And while I'm here, this is a good little point just to check. I think... So, I mean, I think same thing. I think, you know, like, look, we'll put in the fate because I'm about as sure as I can be that these guys count as falling overboard. Hang on, who... But what I want to see is... What other memories do you appear in? Ah, okay, yeah, because I remembered seeing him, but I couldn't remember where. Okay, yeah, you're in that chaos there, and right, yeah, in various places in the Doom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where else? Was there another one? Didn't it say 5 memories? Ah, here. Bosun Store, eh? Bosun Store in Soldiers of the Sea Part 8. Hello. That's very interesting. Well, that makes me want to go and check immediately. Okay, cool. Well, how about you then? Because I haven't actually seen them myself, like I know the game is letting me know, you know, like who is in each memory, but I haven't actually gone and found people. You are so far not in the Bosun Store in any of the available memories. So you, okay. Various places in Soldiers of the Sea. Got it. Hang on though. No. But these little diamonds don't show where people are, where the individual people are. They show what the location of the victim in each memory is. So actually this guy isn't in the bosun's store. Let's check this again, because that's very interesting to me. What do you mean? In Soldiers of the Sea Part 8. Oh, it's below. Right. Because, yeah, I was like, Part 8 is the one that we're just looking at the beginning of the episode. And it does. I was like, nothing involves being inside the bosun's store. Oh, the bosun's... Oh, what am I doing? I'm messing up. Purser. The purser's office is what I wanted to check. The purser's office. I've arrived. I've arrived, everybody. For some reason, I think that's because I actually thought that the purser's office was over this side, and I was expecting it in this corner. And so seeing this made me go, that's what I'm looking for. No. Also, this is so weird to explain. I'm one of those people who has like an association between, a couple of senses just in a very, very minor way. And the way that is for me is I see letters with colors. Each letter has a very specific color associated with it. B and P for me are both green. So it makes it easy sometimes for me to mess, especially words that begin with those letters. It makes it easy it's easier for my brain to sort of like mix them up. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, the purser's office is over here. Okay. So this guy in the bosun's storage, yes, is next to the... To me, it's weird still, though, that this diamond is located. Okay. It's because I'm thinking about the moment of death, but no, it's not. It's not. It's not the moment of death. It is where the body is located. So if it's been relocated, and it has, the animal, like the beast, has been relocated into the bosun's store. No, I have properly arrived. Maybe. I've arrived a little bit more. Got it. This is where the crustacean beast is. All right, let's have a sip of coffee. Let's have a sip of coffee and hope it helps. Got it. All right. In that case, yeah, that's right. So that guy was just in that memory. Got it. In that case, I want to have another look at you and your memories on the deck map. So yeah, here, yep, another part. This is actually, I think, where they're falling down, because this is part 1. This is part 7. They go overboard. Well, they go unintentionally overboard. I mean, here they're just about to go overboard, right? They're going to go overboard in a little boat and hopefully survive. Here is where they go overboard the little boat. Otherwise, this guy is in, right, this memory where the guy dies on top of the beast, in where I was really struggling to understand what I was seeing, when what I was seeing was the eldritch horror entity riding the top of the dying spider that is on fire with a person over the top of him. That was very confusing in a delicious way. I love that. It made the next reveal of actually seeing the full eldritch horror soldier of the sea riding the thing incredibly effective and creepy and cool. So he is also in this one. I remember this very clearly. Part 6 over here. It's the guy who gets pinned. Yep. That's the saddest. It's actually the saddest one for me so far, because of the compassion that's shown to the guy there. And then, yeah, this memory. Okay, so that doesn't tell me about where he is. He could be in the purser's office in any of these memories, but it's part 5, it's part 6, and it's part 7. 5, 6, and 7 is what I want to check out. I know I said I was going to check out the gunners, but this is on my mind now. So let's go and do it. Part 5, 6, and 7. Can we see into... Well, I actually have a pretty... I don't know. I think I have a pretty good... No, we have to go this way. I think I have a pretty good memory of the very first part of that chapter that I encountered, which was on the port walk, right? Down here. And because I remember, like, all we were able to do was look in the windows around there. And I think I didn't see anybody in the purser's office, so I kind of suspect it's not that one. It could possibly be in this one. Let's check it out. Part 5. Wild. So I think that's just a lot of... I think that's 3 things dying at once, basically. I think that's the crustacean horse, the rider, soldier, horror, and this poor chap. All dying at once, effectively. Being variously stabbed, set aflame. It's wild. Absolutely wild. But what I'm interested in is the purser's office here. Oh, poor guy. So can we see around here? Hello! Yes! It's just what I was hoping for. Aha. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. You could be in here for another reason. I totally get it. But, like, you know, I think everything about you, the way you look, the fact that you're carrying those ledgers in the boat, you know, the fact that you're, you know, I don't know, the fact that you're escaping on a boat. I mean, if I were just an administrative official, I would be thinking about the escape boats as well. Not trying to, you know, grab a gun or a sword or anything. You know, no judgment, dude, no judgment. That's what escape boats are for. That's what they're for. When a squid attacks, you know, when, you know, like giant crustacean riding eldritch horrors attack the ship and then a giant squid attacks the ship, you have every right to get yourself on an escape boat well before any of that occurs, let alone after these events, let alone the stuff I don't even know about yet. So, no, good on you. Good on you, purser. Good freaking on you. There's a lot more that I could be looking at in here, but now that I've figured that out, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with it. So let's get out. Let's input that. Let's input that right at the conclusion. Here, guess who you are? Do you know who you are? I know. You're the purser. Duncan McKay. Duncan McKay fell overboard to his death. I'm happy with that. Now, does this mean I do have 3 that are filled in? And does this mean that one of them is wrong, actually? So this is filled in. This fate is filled in. This fate is filled in. The other one I had filled in was in the murder. Hoxing Lau was shot with a gun by Henry Brennan, I believe. Could be wrong. But that's filled in. So that's 2. Didn't I have... I just looked at this in this episode. What was the other one? In the escape? No, actually, I think none of them in the escape are filled in. Not filled in, not filled in. Also, this is wrong because that's not Christian Wolf either. That one is also one we can fix right now. Brennan. Yeah. I absolutely think I know who this guy is. This is kind of like the purser. But I'm just like, you know, I'm just sort of seeing if... I'd like it if I can kind of see a really rich, you know, like I think I can make a really good guess about a lot. I think right now I could guess who the butcher is, who the cook is, you know, like there's a lot of guesses I can just make based on that sketch, you know. I'm absolutely confident I could have a very good guess about a good number of people. The older woman and the younger woman, I'm feeling pretty happy with my guesses about them so far, but I want to play the game on the game's terms, and I want to go, haha, here is a key piece of evidence, or here's, like, let's say, you know, 3 good bits of very strong evidence, you know. I'm happy with that. So for now, like, I think, like, we've probably got a good, you know, amount of evidence for this guy right now, but I don't want to fill it in just yet. That's incomplete. Incomplete. These are all incomplete. So it's... and do I have... I know I went over this before. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to... I thought I had 2 and I've just added a 3rd. But maybe I don't. Partial... That's already... This is already confirmed, yeah. Yep. This is not confirmed. So do I have something... If I had to guess of the 3 of them... Maybe I am wrong about... Like, this would be my guess, is that I'm wrong about torn apart. Should I try crushed by beast? I'm now questioning what it is that led to me thinking that this was Charles Minor. It was... It's because of the Alfred conversation. I need to go over this again. Oh, so I must have something wrong. I must have something wrong in one of these. Let's revisit. Well, I don't need to actually go into... We can just go into the conversation. We need to... Let's revisit what is said in Alfred's conversation. It is... The squid's gone. Your mate was torn apart. Surely... Alright. Your mate was torn apart. Surely they mean the bosun's mate. The bosun's mate. Where is my Frenchman? The bosun... So your mate, you're the bosun, your mate, the bosun's mate, is French. So I'm confident that all of that is correct. Your mate was torn... The squid's gone, your mate was torn apart. They were torn apart by the squid. No one else was torn apart, were they? Hang on, wrong chapter. let's let's go over the doom once again. Okay. You guys were clubbed. This is definitely the artist, so we don't need to worry about him. This guy crushed by cannon. These guys exploded by cannon. Crushed by cannon. Everyone died of cannon down there. This guy was blasted by an explosion. You wouldn't say he was torn apart. And they're not talking about Abigail. So, unless they're talking about someone in the disappearances, because, I mean, it's possible. Several of these people are being grabbed by the squid's tentacles. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy here is. I'm pretty sure this guy here is. I can't super remember this one, but these ones, these were the people on the right. We know this guy is falling overboard. I think this might be the guy, one of the Peters. So I think it's only this guy, and quite frankly, I'm going back to Torn Apart. I think it was right. Torn apart by Beast. I think you are Charles Minor. I don't know. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Show me the crew again. Alfred is an officer. He has a mate. The only person from France that is Charles Minor. I just feel that that's got to be right. I just feel that's got to be right. So yeah, the only other Austrian is the gunner. Am I wrong about Alfred? Are you not Alfred? How did I come to the conclusion you were Alfred? I think possibly because... Is this all coming from me thinking... Because... no! Maybe Alfred is the gunner. Maybe Alfred is Christian. Is Alfred Christian? And that means his mate... No, it doesn't make... No, but his mate is from France. His mate is French. Unless they mean mate in terms of friendship, and the bosun... and the gunner is friends with the bosun's mate. Which is totally possible. But... what I am thinking is that... no... I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing. Let's take a look at the sketch again. Show me the sketch. Show me the sketch. Alright, look. Alfred is standing behind the people shooting. He could be the gunner directing them. However, my memory... I don't know. My memory of the actual scene here... is that there's a bit more separation between these groups here. These guys are really standing at the back watching. Look at this guy. His mouth is open. His arm is out in a clear form, I would say, of direction. I would guess that this would be the gunner or the gunner's mate. Maybe this is the gunner's mate. Because this guy has been known to carry a big bunch of guns, right? This guy's been known to carry a big bunch of guns. But you cannot deny that the whole thing about the Frenchman is pretty clear. Pretty clear. Now, if that's the case, how could I be wrong about this one that seems now to be so... Is it shot with a gun? Is it like, hang on, is there execution? Eaten, electrocuted, expired, exploded. Axed, burned, clawed, clubbed. No. Alright, so there doesn't appear to be anything else that makes any sense here. Shot with a gun. I mean, I feel pretty confident about these now. Where we see Brennan get called out to, it's just... I think he's the only one that's unaccounted for in that scene in the escape. And this, they literally say his name, right? They literally say this guy's name. The captain says this guy's name in his sentencing. So I think that's very correct. Okay, you know what? I don't know. Because there could even be some kind of complexity to this that what if somebody swapped identities with somebody, you know, and that's something you find out in a later chapter. I might, for the time being, just have to move on from this. But I have certainly we've found some interesting stuff out, and I've raised some really interesting questions for myself. Okay. All right. Now I want to do one more thing, because this was my original intention in this episode. I want to go back to the Doom. So you know what? One other thing. This was the other thing I meant to do in this memory before I got excited about the purser. So that was very exciting, though. I think I've figured out who the purser is. Let's take another look at this. I'm going to skip through. What I want to see is there any sign of Squid at this stage?
You killed my brother. What? That was an accident. The ropes.
I think not, but it would be very clever if it was sort of like the Soldiers of the Sea chapter, where you can just see a little tentacle appearing somewhere. Da, 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 da. Yeah, we don't have a lot of visuals, but I guess I can't see anything. Okay, I'm back. I just had some parcel deliveries, and I had to carry a whole bunch of boxes up 3 floors. So I'm a little out of breath, but I'm back. So I think I can say for myself, I do not see any sign of Squid in this memory. Maybe our deer or elk or whatever this beast is here, whatever this animal here knows. Because there was like there was a little telltale bar of some kind at the beginning of that memory, right? Telltale, I say, even though animals, will just make noises. All right, but the last thing I want to do is go down to the first death in this scene, this sort of area in this chapter, which I think is this.
Aim level. Ready.
Welsh? Huh. So, hang on. I think there was maybe a Welsh accent here. Who would be the one giving the orders here? I mean, all of these people are in a sort of a different section. I don't think they'd be yelling. Are you Charles? Are you French? Are you French? Is there something really telltale about your tattoos? I honestly wasn't thinking too much about it. Now I'm really questioning it. So other things are happening with these guys. That's our kind of lumberjack. That's how I refer to him. I thought that was someone's like fiddle. That's our jungle gym enthusiast. This is who I think is Brennan, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, like, look, let's look at it this way. There is, in terms of positions, there's a gunner and a gunner's mate. These are the people who are kind of like in charge of guns, right? But there's many other people here that are just seamen. Across this wall. Now this is the guy lighting the spark. You know, the spark is over here, yeah? He's busy getting crushed, and that's why he can't do anything about it. No, or hang on. Have I been thinking about this wrong? Because where is the spark lit? Where is the spark lit? Is it? I was assuming. Here we go. This is a guy lighting. It is on this side. It is with this. Here we go. This is perfect. So, suppose maybe Brennan over here is kind of like angling or holding the cannon in place. This guy is lighting it with this kind of implement. Yeah, I mean, look, my basic understanding of cannons is that they get lit over this side. But, yeah, and they get loaded on this side. Now, you are my best guess for the gunner. So it would make sense to me if you were giving orders. You are, in fact, the one saying, belay spark. And then maybe this is the gunner's mate or just another guy. Probably not, you're not. Like, you don't seem like you're in an officer position. Okay, alright. So, alright, okay. I've got some things to think about. I've got some questions. Let's leave on this scene. I'm going to have to do a lot more thinking about this, but this is the direction I'm going in. I'm very glad to have been beginning to revisit some things and starting to question some more assumptions and trying to kind of, you know, trying to put some answers together. I'm very, very happy with the purser. I could be wrong about it. Don't let me know. These are all mysteries for me to grapple with and bumble around and stumble over and occasionally shoot sharp, you know, occasionally shoot sharp. We'll get there. I'm very much enjoying this though. I love the revision. It sounds like such a boring thing to say, but I really love it. I really love going over the evidence and you know, questioning and, you know, thinking about what's right and, you know, what could be wrong and how much confidence I have over things and even like what happened with the purser where I was like, you know what? I would expect at some point to see the purser in this location and then going there and seeing him and going, I'm so happy with that. I'm so happy with that. I'm so happy with that. But I'll have to leave this episode here. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Let me know what you thought of the green. It's nice to try something new, right? And I'll see you in the next episode. If you've been enjoying, of course, you know, please consider giving a like to the video, subscribing if you're not subscribed to the channel, checking out any of the other games I do on here, and otherwise, any comments, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.